What's up, everybody? Welcome back to All Things Nerdy, episode 41. Today, we got a super fun topic, something that I really enjoy, basketball and like it coming to the communities and it being accessible and kind of, like how you can play it from like when you're a kid to an adult and what those look like, leagues, all those kind of things. Today, we have a very special guest, comes with a lot of knowledge, actually has a basketball complex back home where I'm from. I've been to and my good friends' kids and stuff play there and training and all that. But that's really about it. Excited to dive into it. Joe?
Yep. I'm excited to learn. I mean, Nathan has broken my ankles a few times, but that is pretty much my knowledge of basketball in general. So excited to have Branch on and talk through basketball and, his complex and everything. But without further ado, Branch, talk nerdy to us.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Branch Whitlock, and I have the Cullman Basketball Complex in Cullman, Alabama, and we basically take kids of all ages and teach them to play basketball. We have a 3-court facility. Anything basketball, we do it. It's leagues, camps, clinics, and over the last couple of years, we've expanded out and got into some volleyball and archery. And but basically, we just try to keep things, all the time in the gym and giving people in the community an opportunity to get in and just be active. We even had like an MMA fight at the gym one time. It was really cool. We do all things basketball, but we're venturing out. We do a little bit of soccer. So just, anything sports related, anything that can get people in the gym and get the community involved, we try to make it happen.
So yeah, I was going to say, like, I could see like branching out, to volleyball or to that, but then like, how do you get to archery? It's like, what? Forget the ball sports. Let's take the bow out.
Right. Yeah. So in our community and in our state, archery is a pretty big deal in the schools. There's a program called NASP, and it's a National Archery in the Schools program. And so these schools basically get into shooting archery, and then we run big tournaments. There'll be 80 to 100 people shooting at a time. And then if you make it to the state tournament or national tournaments, there might be thousands of people shooting at the same time. And it's just a score-based event. And, you can reach the total points of 300. And, you just try to do a team award and see if you can win. I actually teach PE at East Elementary School in Cullman. And I want to say we've won 9 out of the last 10 state championships for elementary schools.
Wow.
And then I'm affiliated with the middle school and high school, and they've done really well also. The middle school has won numerous state championships, and the high school did really well at nationals last year. So it's in our community here in Cullman, like archery is really blown up. When I first started doing it 12 years ago, it was something that people wanted to do like 1 or 2 weekends. But since I've been involved, we probably do 10 to 12 weekends of archery.
Man,
wow.
I didn't realize it was that big. And I would be terrified to be around little kids with bow and arrows.
Yeah.
Downrange.
That sounds like a nightmare to me.
Nathan, you're connected more than you know. So Rosemary Brown at Good Hope is one of the first people to get it started. And then Vinemont currently is like one of the top 2 teams in the state. So you're connected on both schools, man. Go back to your roots.
Dang, that's old school. Wow.
Here in Moody, our school has like done a couple of archery camps, and I know they have a team. But
they come shoot. They do. They come shoot.
I didn't realize it was that big. I just thought it was like, little kids, shooting some arrows after school. That's fine. But I'm gonna have to, let my son take it more seriously. We got him a bow, and he shoots every now and then. But I have to be like, all right, you're gonna do this. Let's do it. Let's go to the championships.
That's it.
Bro, you could go to Branches and shoot.
You can come over there.
Yeah.
What's crazy about the archery is, like I've been involved in basketball, football, like you name a sport, like I've done it. But archery is like the most stressful sport to coach, and it's the most stressful sport to play. Like these kids get up there and they're used to like hitting a certain score, and so each tournament they expect to hit that score, and then like one bad arrow and they're like out, and they just start crying, and like it's crazy.
And it's solely on you too. So as a coach, that's got to be difficult to address, right? Because if it's a team sport, you can be like, hey guys, like we're struggling. Now you can address the weak link, right?
Right.
But with archery, there is no weak link. It is you. You messed up.
That's right. Yeah, you messed up. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy that archery has grown so much. It's kind of cool. And it's great that like you have an indoor place that you can allow people to shoot. you know.
Did you have to get any special, like, I don't know, like waivers or like licenses or anything like that to go from like basketball to archery, like in your complex?
No, you don't have to. When you go to nationals and there's so many kids shooting, I think every kid has to sign a liability waiver, but at the local level, they don't require you to do that.
It's
And to be,
Alabama. Kids are born with weapons.
yeah,
That's true. I mean, I got like two bows in the corner over there. It's fine.
one thing that NAS promotes is that they've never had a kid be injured in any of their events or any of their training programs. So
What about
Yeah,
coaches?
that's what I was about. You specified kids.
yeah. I don't know. That's a great question. I like to get up there. I used to be terrible at archery, but now I've practiced a lot and it gotten pretty good. So I like to get out there and show the kids that, that are complaining about I'm off the target or I don't understand it. And then I'll just grab their bow and shoot it and say, well, it works pretty good for me. It's probably okay. You can stop, complaining now.
Yeah. So what kind of bow do they use? Just a normal like wooden drawstring bow?
Yeah, it's like a compound bow. It's like a single string compound bow, and they they just practice it. There's not a lot to it. You can't use sights, and they basically just have to just practice. And what's cool about it is everybody shoots the same exact bow, and so you basically just going off who's better. There's really not any tricks to it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Can you?
that's a good point. I was gonna say, like, we went to an SCA tournament where they had an archery tournament, and everyone brought their own bow, and one guy even used a crossbow, and I was like, how is that fair? Like, he literally can like set it up and just shoot. It's like, why are we in the same bracket?
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you do a little bit of everything. What do you think are you going to branch to another sport? Like, do you think you'll bring something else in, or are you going to just stick with what you got currently?
I have people, it's so crazy. When I started my gym, I had a 1-court facility. I just rented a building and put a floor in it and found some goals and just started doing some basketball training. And it kind of just grew to travel basketball to, multiple teams, a full-blown program. And it just expanded. So like when I started this, I wouldn't have thought that I would have been in the travel basketball world. I was just going to be in the training and helping kids get better. And then it just kind of blew up. People started calling, asking for practice times and can they rent the gym or can I help them with different things? And then, when I finally was able to build the 3-court facility, like, I guess I should have known that people would call me a lot, but like, I'm just a local guy in Cullman. I mean, I've got people calling me from out of state, from all over, like, when can we get the gym? What can we do? How much does it cost? And a lot of times I don't even know how to answer. Like, hey, can we do this in the gym? Like, I'm not sure. Let me check.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We got Jeremy with a question. Did you see Joe Rogan shoot his bow at the Cybertruck?
I didn't.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, the Cybertruck's supposed to be like bulletproof, and Joe Rogan was like, "Let me take my compound bow and shoot at it and see what it'll do." Well, bro's gonna do nothing, right? But he did, and he was like 10 feet away from it too, so it could have just somewhere else. It'd been crazy,
right?
But definitely look it up. So for the people in Cullman and surrounding areas, I can tell you from my experience going to the Cullman basketball complex, it is really cool. It's fantastic. It's 3 courts. It's really nicely kept. The goals are great. I know like he takes a lot of pride and care in making sure they're lined up, proper position. The floors are nice. They're clean, all that stuff. So go check it out. But Branch, if there's a time, or do you ever run open gym and allow people come play, or is it all just leagues and training?
Right. So when we first opened the gym, it was like basically we built it and then COVID happened. And so the original plan for the gym was memberships and training. And that was really all we were going to do. And then we might do like a little bit of like travel basketball, like just having our own teams that we would send to tournaments in different locations. And when COVID happened, it shut a lot of the, a lot of that stuff down. Government shut down, and I ended up being pretty much the only gym available for people. I had people coming from Birmingham, Florence, Huntsville, like just to play basketball. And so people would get memberships, and which we still do the memberships, but they can pay a fee and come and play pretty much whenever we're open, which is most of the time after school, 3 to 9. And then whenever we, run an event, we have to put a message out that the gym's closed for an event. But the original goal was just having a gym available for people to play in. I think that whenever I first got into this, I was coaching high school basketball, and a lot of the coaches wouldn't get out and open the gym. So the kids didn't really have any way to get better outside of, just, outside parks or something where the weather might not be great. So that was my goal and vision, was to help kids get better at basketball. And since that time, and it's like a blessing and a curse, like there's been a lot of young coaches come in and now they've got their gyms open all the time. And so it hurt memberships, but it gives kids like an opportunity to play in their own area. And so then I had to shift gears to finding different forms of revenue. So we, shifted gears to travel basketball and like I mentioned, the archery, the soccer, things like that. But yeah, we basically just do, a little bit of everything all the time.
Yeah, and I can tell you, like, so I've lived all over, and something that I feel like a lot of places have missed. So I grew up in Cullman, most people know, right? There was always like Ingle, and you could go play
Mhm.
Ingle if they
Right.
weren't doing whatever, and I loved it. But as I've traveled and moved, the accessibility of courts has diminished. Like in New Orleans, there was a ton of outside courts which you could go to and were free. But if you wanted to go indoors to a nice, decent court, there was nothing available to you, right?
Mhm.
Other than like maybe the
Right.
the Jewish Community Center, right? JCC and things of that nature. But you still had to hold a membership and like at the actual gym. But I was like, I just want to go shoot. So the fact that like you did that is awesome for so many people, because even growing up, like I know Meyer would open the courts on Sundays, and I went like all the time because it was so rare to get open courts outside of actual practice.
Right. So last night, on a Wednesday night, we had probably 35, 40 people in there playing on two courts, just sitting around waiting on the next game. And then we had a couple high school kids that would come in and work with their parents on some shooting or something. So last night it was jam packed, and my wife and I actually had to work there last night. One of our employees was sick, and
No,
brought the three kids in there. They were running around. It was insane. But yeah, it was pretty busy last night. People coming in and playing. It was pretty good basketball.
That's awesome.
nice.
We got Steven says, guys, I'm here. People are making me work, but can't miss a chance to troll Nate.
Get out of here, Steven. Nobody wants your nonsense.
Well, if I remember right, Joe, you said that Nate like crossed you up. Is that what you said?
He literally like broke my ankle. I mean,
Okay, yeah. So my response to that is like, you must be a beginner, because Nathan is terrible at basketball. Like
What?
he can shoot and he can post you up a little bit, but if it's like ball handling and like breaking you down, like then we got to work on your footwork, Joe.
I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
I
How's this turned into this?
Yeah.
I guess that does show like I'm all about the like I can like I have the cardio so I can run around the court like infinitely, but as far as like any kind of technique or dribbling or anything like that, I'm gonna be trash. But I'll jump up as high as I can and grab the ball and throw it to someone else.
There you go.
Maybe clothesline people. It's happened a couple times. Brandon McCroy says team house money.
So something we haven't dove into is that Branch also runs adult leagues. And I have been in Cullman to witness some of these games. And I can tell you, one of my good buddies, he plays on Branch's team. He needs to get down there, get some more boards. He's got to start lifting his team up more than what he does. And I've seen Branch out there, he's talking about my skills. Like he out there just passing willy-nilly.
Yeah. Brandon, he gets a little lazy on the court from time to time, but
I've seen that.
yeah, but he's getting old. So like, if you take him back to his early 30s, like he's pretty tough in there. But he messaged me the other day, said, "Man, I think this is gonna be my last men's league season." And he'd rather like take me out, and then he goes and sits with the family up in the stands and just watches now. So
And he
he's lost
blames
his
you
love.
for stubbing him out.
That's right. He's like, "Hey, you didn't put me in." I'm like, "Well, you're sitting with like the fan section. How can I put you in the game, bro?" So no, we actually, it's been funny. Like, of course I love basketball, and I want people to have an opportunity to play. And guys my age are 20 years old to 45 years old. Where do they go play? Like, who can you play with, and what can you do? And we've grown a really good men's league. I would say that it's probably one of the top men's leagues in the state as far as like competitive, but also different variations of ability levels. And we kind of break it out in different brackets, and so everybody gets an opportunity to play. When I first started this, we'd have like 6 or 7 teams, and most leagues now we have somewhere around 19 to 20 teams every league. So we're currently ranked number 1, house money. Shout out to my house money boys out there. When I was playing men's league to begin with, I didn't realize it. And some guys that own the gym also had told me, like, yeah, you can't play men's league. They're going to, blame you for not getting the calls, and so that started happening. And so when I would win, they'd be like, oh, of course he won. He owns the gym. Or of course that ref called that foul. He owns the gym. So then I quit playing men's league for 1 or 2 different leagues. And I was like, man, like, nah, I want to play. Like, I did this for people. Like, why can't I participate also? So then I made team house money, because if they're going to blame me, then I'm just going to own it. So we're house money. And if y'all got a problem, then join a different league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can also say, as a guy who's played in leagues, the refs just suck. It doesn't matter who you are. None of them are good, right? Like, they're just like, whatever. They're not calling fouls, or they're calling fouls that are wrong fouls, like, over the back, which is not a foul. And they're like, right, over the back. And I'm like, bro, what the F? What do you mean over the back?
Right. Yeah. We've got some good refs that come in from time to time. And, like, I get frustrated with officials also. And I've learned to try to, like, hold back and not complain as much, because, if I'm complaining, that gives everyone else the right to complain. So I try my best to not do it. But, it's just like anything else. Somebody the other day said, hey, your scorekeeper did a terrible job. Like, she missed 4 points. And I said, you ever had a bad employee before? And they were like, yeah. And I said, well, like, not every employee is great. Like, I'm sorry, and we'll try to make it better the next time. But, like, not all refs are good. My thing is, you don't have to get all the call rights, as long as you're working hard and getting up and down the floor.
Yeah, and just not changing the game, right? Like, if you are fouling one specific person out, for the most part, a ref isn't going to impact the game too terribly much. They can, but for the most part, like, just stop them from killing and hurting each other, because your goal in a men's league is to exercise, compete, but ultimately you want to go home healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and a lot of people are like, hey, it's not the Olympics out here, and they're like, I got to work tomorrow, I don't have insurance, or stuff like that. And so people are all the time kind of saying that stuff. So yeah, it definitely it's competitive, but we can't just blame the refs for everything. That's one thing I can give credit to Brandon about on Team House Money is
we can't do that on the podcast.
No credit to Brandon. Credit. Yeah. No. He misses a lot of layups on his own, but then, like, he definitely misses layups that the refs don't call fouls. So he probably leads the league in complaints to referees. But that's one thing we've been talking about in our huddles is, like, hey, leave the referees alone and just make your layups, Brandon.
We can give him that credit. How do you manage, like, a 19-team league, camps and youth activities for basketball, archery, volleyball? Like, how do you, like, juggle all of this different stuff?
Yeah.
Before we get into that, Brandon has responded to whatever.
Yeah, just classic Brandon, super negative.
Nothing positive to say. No, my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
To your question, it's a monster, to be honest. People all the time are like, hey, you need an assistant, or hey, why don't you hire someone to run this league or that league? And, it's crazy, because my response a lot of times is I can delegate things, but some things I can't. And then if I delegate this activity and then you still have to call me and ask me how to do it, or there's still checks and balances, you got to call me and say, hey, is this okay or that okay? Can we do this or do that? Like, I'm still involved in it. So it's probably just easier for me just to do it myself. And one thing that I've done a better job of the last few years is just scheduling and trying to, get ahead on the calendar a little bit, so that I can, just schedule ahead and know that something's coming up and it's not so last minute all the time.
Do you use any kind of, like, AI or anything like that? Any technology tools to help you with scheduling and that kind of stuff? Like, or create, like, brackets for tournaments and those kinds of things?
Yeah. So I use a program called eSoft Planner, and I just found it on Facebook, one time and on an ad, and I use it for our memberships and scheduling practices. And then, through teaching, I've learned about, Google Sheets and documents and, different things like that to share schedules with, groups of people and put it in an email. And, so, lots of different activities. There's a thing called Group Me that you put parents in a group, and there's a band app that the Cullman County Youth Basketball Association uses, and so there's all different kinds of things. I wish that there was something a little bit more streamlined that I could hit everything that I do. Sports Engine is an account that a lot of people use, and I just haven't figured out how to way to like make it work for me. But I might, have to give it a try down the road.
Yeah, or to just like hire somebody to make your own thing that does everything you need.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I've had some people reach out to me about creating me an app, and I don't, it all sounds cool until they give me a price, and then it's like I think I could just do it, myself.
I'll continue in my current ways.
That's right. Yeah, I think there's a common misconception, we've got this 3-court basketball facility. It's really nice, and when you pull up to the gym, you see a whole bunch of cars. You see this nice basketball facility. The tax revenue people, think it's worth a lot of money because I get taxed for it, and but they just see cars in the parking lot and they think, oh, this dude must be killing it. And, but they don't see my payment, So, you think about a $1,500 to $2,000, house payment. Well, how would you like a all inclusive, like $12,000 to $15,000 a month, burden on your shoulders that you got to like grind nonstop for, like,
Yeah.
And,
I mean, and that's the thing, right? So you constantly have that, and that's why you're running all of this.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And people are parents like, hey, you need a haircut. I'm like, I don't have time for a haircut. Like, I got to schedule the next event. I got to do the next team event, got to put on the next, whatever it is to keep people coming in. And, I think that I've been blessed. There's a guy in Gunnersville, Alabama. He built Supreme Courts, and he did it as I was working in my 1-court gym. And he's really helped me a lot, and we've built a really good friendship, and he kind of leads the way. I kind of defer to him for any kind of big questions or what should we do or how should we do it. And along the way, we've created a couple of partnerships. One of them is called SYBL. It's the Southern Youth Basketball League, and we run travel basketball tournaments in March, April, and May. And so there's like so many things that he did before I did that he was able to share with me and work together. But what I would also say is, if he didn't think that we could work together, or if there wasn't like ultimate trust between the two of us, then there would have been no reason for him to bring me in. I would have essentially been a competitor, and he looked at me as, an ally. And so that's something that I don't think people realize, when they see this gym and they see all these cars in the parking lot, they see all these people in there at the concession stand. They don't realize that, like, hey, like I don't go to sleep much. I stay up really late. I'm constantly flipping the gym, going to get concessions, like, scheduling things nonstop, not seeing my family, and
I've seen for a fact that you were in the gym at 3 a.m., placing stuff, making sure the floor, and I'm talking like when we place the goals are massive and they're heavy, right? And they're off by just a little bit. He's like, no, we got to do it. We got to move it here. We got to move it there. Like, he is very specific. And those are all things people take for granted and don't think about, and I'm guilty of this as well. I didn't understand the time. Like when McCroy's like, hey, we're going to go help Branch move these goals. I was like, bet, that's 20 minutes, right? I didn't understand the time that goes into making sure they're lined up, making sure they're in the perfect spot, they're completely straight, and they're heavy. And the one with the lift, that one sucked ass.
Yeah. And think about how much it would have taken if y'all had not shown up. Like, I'd have been there all night.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have went home. You would have just rolled right into the next day.
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. I mean, it just shows how, like, the commitment you have to your vision and to the dream of, like, when you first started out, right? Like, you wanted to give back to the community, and I mean, you are, and you're putting a lot of effort that, doesn't necessarily get seen into, putting back into the community. So it's awesome.
So is your goal, Branch? Do you want another complex? Are you going to just stick with one complex? Do you think you'll open another one down the road somewhere, or what does that look like?
No, I want somebody to buy this complex. Somebody come and buy it. Get me off the hook, man. I love it. It's a lot, like, it's my dream. But it's time for it to be somebody else's dream. Because, I say that I'm sort of kidding, but, like, no, I couldn't do another one. I don't know if I would do this one again. Like, you look at the time you missed from your family, you look at the money that you spent, you're on the hook for, and, like, at any moment, I mean, what if COVID happens again? It's like, oh crap. So, it's been good. Like I'm not like struggling, on the day to day, but like I'm essentially running two full-time jobs. I have I'm a teacher by day and then a gym owner by night. And it's, it's what I love to do, but it'd be really cool to get back into coaching high school basketball, or it'd be really cool to like coach my kids and not have to worry about missing something for somebody else's event, and I think that, a lot of people just don't realize, the effort and the work that it goes into it. And, I love basketball, but sometimes, man, I hate basketball, and it's such a catch 22. On Sundays when it's time to go play men's league, I love it. When it's
Yeah,
time to
it's
like
fun.
move the goals and to put up volleyball nets, it's like, what am I doing, man?
Yeah.
So, uh, but yeah, I mean, it's been good. Like I said, the guy in Gunnersville built one. He did it before me, and we both have been successful, I guess, to a degree. And we work together. But without his guidance and assistance, and without our gyms working together, I don't know how it would have worked.
Have you thought about seeing if he wanted to buy it?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We're not actively trying to sell, but like, somebody came in and was like, "Hey, that sounds really cool. Like, let's do it." Then, yeah. But the problem is people that normally are interested in doing something like this, are in a different area or a different community. Like somebody from Huntsville or somebody from Birmingham comes in and they're like, "Man, this would be really cool in Huntsville, or really cool in Birmingham." And I'm like, "Well, also it's really cool in Cullman, man. Why don't you, come by this one?"
So
And
I think Coleman is almost better because you're literally dead center of Huntsville and Birmingham. You can bring everybody from both of the massive. Huntsville is one of the fastest growing places in the U.S.
yeah.
Right? You can bring everybody there within an hour.
I think that's true, and we do that currently. But I think that at some point when these gyms start popping up everywhere, like why would they leave their town? I
Yeah.
guess it's just, is there enough people to play basketball in their own town before they go somewhere else? So it's getting tricky. It's getting tricky.
So, I mean, talking about that, so you run a men's league. So we always ask every episode, if you're a complete noob to this, how do you get into it? If you're a complete noob at basketball, go play basketball. Don't sign up for a men's league. But if you've never played in a men's league and you have experience and you're, let's say, decent at
Yeah.
basketball, how would you go about signing up for a men's league and being part of that and getting to your gym and getting acclimated and feeling comfortable?
Yeah. So, my number is posted everywhere. And basically, they just need to get on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, and just wait for information to come out. We do a lot of Facebook marketing. And then, come to watch a men's league and see what it looks like, and make sure that, you're able to compete, or, like no one likes getting blown out, And then, I like to say like it's a family environment for a men's league, but every once in a while it's not. So, like come see, like, should you bring your kids? Should you bring your wife? Which 99% of the time is fine. But, just see if it's the environment that you want to be in, because basketball can be a different environment. It gets a little wild. People get upset. Referees aren't, always the nicest. Talking about grown men and testosterone, and I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you, I'm faster than you, I'm stronger than you. Like, we're playing basketball, but we can just fight if y'all want to. Like, there's all those kinds of intangible things that come into it. So, we got a team from Walker County that comes up and plays. They've won a couple of our championships. We've got teams from Huntsville and Athens that come play. We've had teams from Birmingham and Morris and Mortimer Jordan that come play. And, with like 20 teams, I'd say that 5 to 7 of them are from outside of Cullman. But then we've just got a big base of about 15 teams, like right here in Cullman. It's crazy.
Have you thought about running like an old men's like half court league? Because in New
No,
Orleans, it's actually a massive thing. It's very big, and they run it at the
really.
JCC. They do half court, like older, like you have to be like 50 plus. I say you have to be. I subbed for one of these. They were short, and they're like, "You want to play?" I was like, "Yeah." It was a blast, right? Although like
Yeah.
this like 70-year-old dude who could barely move was just making it rain like Steph fucking Curry, right? So that was awful. But I mean, yeah, it's actually like a fairly big thing.
Sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
I don't
Half court
know.
sounds perfect for Brandon, though, right?
Yeah. Brandon could play some half court.
He's
Yeah.
also getting an age and he's bald, so he could sell that he's 50.
I'm growing my hair out for Brandon. It's for you, Brandon. Um, Yeah, like, I don't know that our population in Coleman is big enough to run that. We don't have a bunch of 50-year-old dudes coming in and playing basketball. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. you know, I'll tell you one thing that people have been really wanting to do is, they've done it here before, but they keep begging me to do it. It's like a dodgeball tournament.
That would
And
be cool.
yeah, so like people hit me up about dodgeball all the time, and I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I just don't have anybody to help me get it going. There's really no one out there that can. That's a shot at Brandon. Brandon's the one that likes the dodgeball.
Hey, that would actually be a lot of fun. And I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like you could put together a league behind dodgeball, right? And I feel like
Right.
dodgeball is one of those things you can play even when you get older. Your shoulder might hurt a little bit, but like it's kind of chill. It makes me think of like beer leagues, right? Like beer league dodgeball, beer league kickball, all those type of things. And I mean, it's something you could set up a fairly cheap overhead, just buy the dodgeballs and then tell people, like try to hit each other and then you're good.
It makes a lot of sense. I've not been to very many dodgeball tournaments, but I just feel like officiating it would be kind of tough. And like, hey, you're out. No, I'm not. Yes, sir, you are. Like,
I
how
mean,
do
the
you?
referee has the final say, right? And most
Yeah,
people self-police. From what I've seen at like beer league, most
yeah,
people self-police. The ref really doesn't have to sit there and be like, you. They're just like, come on. And they're like, if you get hit, you got hit. Now, there's some
yeah,
douchebags who are like, no, I didn't get hit. Bro, I watched it. No, trust. I dodged
yeah,
Matrix, right?
Hit you in the face.
Yeah. But for the most part, and it's the referee has the end all be all. Like you can't argue like, hey, you're out. Like you just walk out. And like it's like an agreed upon thing. Like you might gripe about it, but ultimately you're still out. You can no longer contribute to the game.
yeah.
We got a comment from Steven. Richmond has social leagues for dodgeball, wiffle ball, kickball, broomball. What is broomball?
Feels like what is the Harry Potter thing? That's what that feels like.
Quidditch. Yeah, people running around on brooms.
One thing that's picking up a lot in our area, I don't know if I'm going to get involved in it or not, is pickleball. Like they're talking
That's blowing
about
up everywhere.
Yeah, they're talking about getting pickleball going and running events with pickleball. And
So
I think that it'd be a lot of fun and a lot of people would come do it. I just don't know if I could shut my gym down a day to do it,
So pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. And then pickleball, like even my wife's mom goes and plays pickleball once a week. Like
Really?
everybody, like you have college kids that do it. There's classes at Tulane that you can take to do it. I know of 3 people from New Orleans that are in pickleball like leagues and all that. Like it is massive. It is growing. If you can get ahead of it, and I don't know about shutting it down, maybe reserving like one court because you got to have like special boxes, and I don't even know how you would play it inside because it's like on the concrete. There's kitchen or the whatever it is, But like you could probably set something up for pickleball, and you could probably get a lot of people in for it.
Stephen says, broomball is hockey with brooms. Why is that a thing? People are weird. And then we got someone, LinkedIn user, that says love pickleball. So
See?
I've been trying to get my employees to play broomball for a while, so maybe we can get that going, let them sweep a little bit, keep it going, so then I don't have to do it all the time.
I was about to say it like for real, but then I see where you went with it.
Yeah. Shout out to Christina.
Christina.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, Branch, do you have any other questions for us? Anything you want to shout out? Maybe an upcoming men's league?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Before we jump into that, also like for anybody that's listening, I know a lot of people like on my Facebook, Joe's Facebook, they have kids. If they're interested in getting their kids training, do they do the same thing? Follow on Facebook and just reach out? Do you have a website?
Yeah, website. It's Cullman Basketball Complex. .com, I guess. I think it's CullmanBasketballComplex.com. And
Perfect.
then our email is CullmanBasketballComplex@gmail. And then we do have a Facebook, and you could reach out through Facebook for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And what would it look like to do they just reach out to email you, say, hey, I have a kid, they're 10 and they want to train in basketball, and then you'll be like, yeah, come on? Or is there like a preliminary skills assessment? What does that look like?
Right. Man, it looks different for different people. I get a lot of emails. I'm not the best at responding to emails. So if you get my cell phone number, probably the texting me is the best way.
He's not the best at responding to those either,
but
so everybody knows.
But I do text back eventually. Yeah, it doesn't get lost.
And we got another person that says the geriatric market is highly addressable pickleball. Get those pickleball courts.
Yeah,
sounds like the crowd is speaking to you, man.
The pickleball, like net and rackets and stuff, they're not that expensive. And then you could
Mhm.
actually just put down court tape. I mean, we could do it. I've had people reach out to me about running some tournaments, and I don't know. I just don't know how like sustainable it would be. But I would definitely take another look at it and see if it's something we can get rolling. Um,
Yeah, I mean, if it's the fastest growing sport in America, to get ahead of the curve and like get recognized as a place to go play on a consistent day or whatever, I
mhm,
bet you could build out a decent, especially Cullman, right? Like where we're
mhm.
from, people love like that high, like like oh, I do the coolest hip thing, right? I see all the like the 35-year-old moms who still feel young and want to be active, trying to get out there and do stuff. I feel like that would like be right up their alley. You'd probably get a bunch of college kids up from like Wallace and stuff that would want to play.
Yep. Yeah, they might. Um, yeah, we'll take a look at it, see if we can make it happen. I've had two different people reach out to me about it and just finding the dates that something is not already on the schedule, and then create a flyer and throw it out there, see if people want to come. We can give
Yeah.
it a shot.
And someone posted the link, so if you want to go back and look at it, the pickleball annual growth report. I'm trying to copy this instead of like making it show, but I can't. So
It's,
I'll have to
I,
I'll have
I'm
to
sure
look
you
it up
can.
later.
Yeah, I'm sure you can Google it.
Yeah.
But Branch, go ahead. What you're saying before I cut you off about the pickleball stuff, if you even remember.
Man, I really don't remember. I know that this right here is the new trend, these energy teas, and I'm a sucker for an energy tea. But we used to sell them at the gym, and I feel like I was drinking too many. We weren't making any money, so I had to cut it out. Um,
Oh,
no,
someone posted the players 2017 3 million players, 2022 8.9 85% growth. I mean that's some good numbers right there, man, as far as growth wise goes. Then we got
yep,
Luke. He says, is pickleball going to be the next, what is that, Jai Alive from the 80s? I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Well, I don't know what that is either. Luke showing his age.
I'm gonna Google it really quick. Let's see. Jaialai.
And then
Uh,
we got Ben. He said, "Not sure." It's from Ben. Not sure why he keeps calling him a LinkedIn user. But
That's funny. But yeah, we like I said earlier, like we do basketball all the time, and like when I start getting into like ideas about dodgeball or pickleball, it's like, okay, well, what can I push basketball wise to create that room for pickleball, or what can I push to create that room, for volleyball?
and if they're
And
constantly in demand, right? Like every time
right,
I've been to your gym, all three courts are being used. I don't remember the last time I was there and saw an open court that wasn't just in between games, right?
hmm,
And then you have to understand like the court tape, like somebody's got to put it down, somebody's got to pull it up, the
right,
tennis shoes that people are using, how much is it going to mess up your basketball courts? Like, I mean, there's a
hmm,
lot to consider versus like, hey, we could make money. Let's just do it.
yeah. Well, like I brought soccer in, and it's going really well, but they have destroyed like the bottom of my like outer walls, and they were already like getting torn up anyway just from basketballs hitting them, but like soccer has like really sped up that process. So now it's like they're going to force me to like put some walls up on the exterior of my, or the interior of my exterior walls, and it's something I was going to have to do anyway, but like now I'm definitely going to have to do it sooner. And so like you're saying, like what's the plus minus on it, like I might make some money, but then am I gonna have to spend all that money fixing something that has broken, so and that's another thing is, talking about revenue is, does pickleball bring in the same revenue that maybe a basketball tournament would do? Because if the answer is no, it's really hard to do it,
yeah.
so like people, a lot of times you pay $5 to get into a game, or $10 to get into a tournament, or sometimes $25 to get into a tournament. So our pickleball user is going to want to, pay $5, $10, $25 to play, watch. Are you going to bring your families to watch? Are they going to pay to get in? And I hate that it's so like revenue based. Like we can only do things that
Business.
make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's a business, so we
yeah.
definitely get it.
So for sure.
Yeah. Well, Branch, anything else you want to share with everybody listening, or anything you want to point out, spotlight, highlight? Oh, your next upcoming like men's league.
Yeah, for sure. So we're about to finish up this winter men's league, and it'll probably finish up Second week, third week of January, and then we'll probably kick one off mid to late February. And then our best, like most competitive men's league is normally during the summer. And so if you're really good at basketball, like that's when a lot of like former college guys come and play, some G League guys. You know, it's super competitive in the summer, so that's good. You know, just to be honest, like one thing that I linked into with this gym was, you know, travel basketball. And we've got the SYBL league, but I've also got travel basketball teams. And one thing that I built was this team program called NC Premier. And people never know what NC Premier stands for. And we use sort of like the North Carolina logo. So they're like, oh, you got a team from North Carolina? No, it's North Central. We're North Central Alabama, NC Premier. Yeah. So, but you know, it's kind of a cool look, and I would say that 80% of the best basketball players in our community have, at some point in time, played for my basketball program. And several guys that have played college or going to play college have played for my program. And you know, you build it from scratch, and you know, I coach it a lot of the time, and then it grows and it expands, and then people are like, "Well, can you coach it?" I'm like, "I can't coach 10 teams. You know, I can only coach 1 or 2 teams." But I have a really good travel basketball program, and something that it led me to do is get out there and compete, and I've got good players that, you know, do really well. Well, then I linked in on the girls side with the Southern Stars, which is the Alabama Southern Stars, and a guy named Doug Bush. And so if you've heard of like Nike EYBL, um, Doug Bush has the only Nike EYBL girls program in the state of Alabama. And so he kind of picked me up, and I merged my NC Premier girl side basketball with the Southern Stars. And it's been a great partnership. And, you know, if you're a high level girls basketball player, like anywhere in the state of Alabama or surrounding states, like I think we've put, you know, 200 plus kids, you know, in college, and there's no telling how many of those are D1s. And so Doug Bush has done a great job, and I've been very fortunate to use the gym to, you know, bridge gaps and make relationships with people like Doug and Jonathan Hyde in Gunnersville with Supreme Courts, and I'm starting to now do the same thing with volleyball. We have a premier. We're North Premier Volleyball, so we're sticking with the Premier name, and I think we have 12 volleyball teams in my volleyball program right now that are practicing currently and about to go and play in tournaments. So, you know, if you're somebody that's basketball, volleyball, and you know, you want to be on a team or looking for a team, you know, we have different levels of it. I've had some really good teams and I've had some really bad teams, but biggest thing is just giving kids an opportunity to play. You know, we can find somewhere for you to play. We can get you put on a team and let you just keep expanding your game and working from there.
What age do they start at?
So in travel basketball, traditionally, you start in 4th grade. Every once in a while, you might have some 3rd grade teams, or you might have a 3rd grader that's good enough to play up in 4th. And so the season for that is normally March, April, and May, and then you have like high level events in June and July. And so, like, I coach the 2027 Southern Stars girls basketball team with, you know, players like Zanaya Mitchell and Ella Gossett and Molly Wilson. And hey, Zanaya, did you tell me, Joe, you tell me you're from Moody?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Pell City?
No, it's like probably 15 minutes from Pell City.
Okay. Well, Zanaya goes to Pell City. She's a really good player.
Okay.
I think there's a girl from Moody named Serenity that's a 2028 kid that she's going to run with the Southern Stars this year, and she's a really high level player. I think she plays for Moody High School, and
the name sounds familiar. She may be like
like
the daughter of like somebody I know in Moody. We got
maybe so.
We got a comment from Hunter Reynolds late to the show. Nate, has he rated your jump shot yet? He's mentioned Nate's lack of skills, but he hasn't necessarily rated his jump shot yet. So maybe that could be like the last thing we wrap up with, is just talking all about Nate's jump shot.
Hey, Nate's got a little bit of a jump shot, but to call it a jump shot is a little bit misleading, you know, because there's a set shot and then there's a jump shot. So traditionally, when you think jump shot, you're thinking someone that leaves the floor when they
Elevates.
shoot. Yeah, and I'm not sure that he really gets credit for that. So
maybe one foot is off the floor, the other's still there, kind of thing. So it's more like skipping.
That's being generous.
To
Mine's
be
more like
fair. Go ahead.
Mine's not a jump shot, but it's not like a set shot. It's like a movement shot, right? I
Yeah.
make an upward movement. It's not like I'm just like set, right? I don't jump much because like I'll die. Like my body's just so fragile. B, I'm heavy. C, I'm just not athletic very much. So like I ain't leaving the court. The floor is my home. It's where I live.
To be fair, Steph Curry has really, figured out different ways to shoot jump shots. So sometimes you might see him actually elevate. Sometimes you might see him barely elevate. And ESPN did a little special on him about like his wrist speed and how fast it leaves his wrist. And so like maybe that's Nate. Maybe your wrist speed's so good you don't have to jump very much.
Maybe me and Steph essentially, we're the same people on the court. Really, he's a little better than I am, but not much.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, Branch Phillick is my new best friend. Great assessment.
Yep.
I mean, he is a coach, and he does a lot of stuff. So he would be the person to be able to accurately identify and pinpoint Nate's shot. So
I gotta say,
and
listen, this is not like I'm not trying to like come off in any kind of wrong way. I don't want to sound sexist at all, but like I've never dated a girl, or I'm definitely married to a girl now that cannot beat me at basketball. Okay, so I just want to let you know that like as far as masculinity goes, like I've never dated a female that could beat me at basketball. I cannot say that Nate has the same thing going on here.
No, my wife can definitely and has beat me at basketball, right? We play together a lot. And but my wife played D1, made it to the Sweet 16. Like she's no slouch.
The excuses. Here we go.
Those are facts. Those are facts.
I mean, just sounds like you need to train harder. Is what
I'm done with both of y'all. Y'all have a great day. I'm out. No, on a real note, my wife is fantastic at basketball. She is really good. She did play D1 college, right? Like she can beat a lot of people. So it doesn't even bother me that she's better than I am.
She's no Steph Curry, but she is a Steph. So I mean,
yes, yeah.
Oh,
hey Joe,
God.
I got to tell you, like one night we were.
I mean, that is true.
Fair enough. I'll let y'all run with that one.
What is happening? Why is everybody doing this? Look at the next comment. What is happening?
Well, let's see. Ben Gerway, Nate has the shot of Kendrick Perkins, the ball handling ability of Boban, and the post defense of Nate Robinson. I don't know what any of that means though. So
well, Nate Robinson, Joe, is about 5 foot tall, so he's saying that he guards like terribly, like not a good defensive player. Yeah,
I like where this podcast is going. Like we should always just attack Nate right at the end.
Yeah,
no.
I will say about Steph, one of the first times that they came to check out the gym, we were moving some bleachers and some benches, and Steph jumped right in. And then the next thing you know, like we couldn't find Nate anywhere. Brandon's like, "Hey, Steph, where'd Nate go?" And she's like, "Well, he said he don't like to work and he don't want to move anything heavy. I think he just got his nails done, something like that." So like we were, like, okay, well, next time, Nate, we're gonna throw you in.
Time out. Okay, we were helping put in the floor, and I was talking to the flooring guys about like what they were doing, how they like what their business model was, how often they do it, how far they try. Everybody needs a hype man, right? Like you got the people that do, and you got the people that encourage the other people to do. I am the guy that encourages the other people to do. I am just as vital and just as important as these people.
I don't know. It sounds like you were distracting the flooring guys from doing their work and then also not helping do the other work. But I mean,
hate this podcast.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So I will say, Branch, I had an opportunity. I was talking to a guy about working on his pirate ship, right? Okay. And my wife used that story of me not helping y'all to convince him of why I shouldn't be. He was in. I was like 99% secure that I was going to go get to work on this New Zealand like pirate ship for like 3 months, right? I was going to leave. I was going to be back in 3 months. It was going to be amazing. He was like 99% in. We're going to like get it. My wife walks up and immediately says, "Let me tell you." And then she continues to tell him to the story of, me not helping with the floor, which I did help, and then he was like, "Yeah, I think we're good." And I was like, "What the F?" She's like, "You will want to kick him off the boat within a week. He's going to stop all of y'all from working." So the floor thing has essentially ruined my life from not allowing me to be a pirate.
Oh,
big dreams, man. It's hard to get that done sometimes, I guess. Big dreams, though.
Let's focus on this last comment. We got one more, and then we'll let you run. He is capital is an amazing hype man, and that's facts. I am.
Yeah, I got you. Well, hype me up, Nate.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, let me. I got a few people that I had told I'd give a little shout out to on here, and
Okay.
so
End
I
with
got some.
shout outs. I like it.
Yeah, yes, I got some. I got some high school boys that have played with me in basketball for a long time. Carson Perkey, Hayden High School, Tucker Malin, Good Hope High School, Chloe Weems, JB Pennington, some high level players that play for me in spring travel, and I think have a chance to go play college basketball. Got to talk about Emma Thompson at Good Hope and Ava McSwain, who is also a Good Hope, all-state player, probably going to hopefully win a state championship this year. I've got Paisley Whitlow at Cold Springs, some of my people. She played varsity this year, played really good the other day. And then I can't forget about, some of my other girls, Ella Gossett and, Lucy Adams and just a whole slew of girls basketball players with the Southern Stars. And then I got a fifth grade girls group right now. Fifth grade girls, they all go to the same like school feeder, and so they'll feed to Cullman High School one day, and it's an elite fifth grade girls team. Like I can see like some big things happening with those girls one day, and that's Mary Grace and Catherine and Graceland and Maggie, and if I don't name them all, they're gonna be mad, but. I'll just leave it at that. But we got some girls. I think every kid on my fifth grade girls team, every single one, could play college basketball one day if they want to. And
Man.
it's hard to identify that like when they're in the fifth grade. But I think we have that kind of that. And I got a fourth grader named Kylie Miner, and she's elite, man. So like it's crazy when you see kids that are just on a different level at a young age, and you just know they're going to be something big one day.
Yeah, and that's real because Branch does not like he will tell you like where he thinks you is, like you are like talent wise. So for him to say that, like I believe it. I feel like these little kids would like cross me would definitely break your ankles, Joe.
Yeah.
And all that. And then also like if we're talking about eliteness, we can just throw it out there. Before they decided to hang up their basketball shoes, Adelie, she was a beast.
Oh yeah.
She quit
Man.
because McCroy let her.
It broke my heart when Adelie left because she's another one. Let me just finish this out. Oakley Turner and Lucy and golly, am I missing somebody? Brooklyn Fletcher. I think that's all of them. Anyway, maybe they won't watch it. Maybe
We're gonna email it to them directly.
Yeah. But I've got a good group of kids that play basketball in the fifth grade, and the biggest thing is they have parent support that's unreal. Like, you're talking about like scheduling and being on point. And I don't always do the best at that. I've really tried hard with this fifth grade girls group, but I can call them on Monday and be like, "Hey, do y'all want to play tonight?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're in." And because I'm always trying to play somebody, and my wife might say I'm just trying to get out of the house, but I'm trying to like help these kids get better at basketball.
Yeah, game time.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the most important time. Well, I mean, practice is important, but game time is where you really grow.
Hey Nate, I wanted to show you these. I don't think you saw these when you were here last.
Ooh,
What you think, my guy?
that black on black. I like it. Those look nice.
You like those? Get my shoe game, Joe. Like it hasn't been great, but like most people from like 22 to 28 years old, I was like super cool. But since I built this gym, I feel like my cool factor is like really diminished. And so I'm trying to get my cool factor back, man. I'm gonna start like cool hair, like shoes, like I'm gonna get my Nike game back. Like,
His
hey,
shoes are nice. I saw him when I was in town. He's getting there.
Everybody watching, like I'm on the comeback. And then I'm almost 40, but it ain't nothing to do with 40. I'm just telling you, like it's time to turn it back up.
I don't think I've ever been described as a cool person, so I'll have to like live vicariously through you.
Oh man, you got the hair, like you definitely cool.
Hey, Joe, we host a podcast called All Things Nerdy. Nobody looks at us as like those are the cool guys,
right? Hey, one day being nerdy will be in, and like we'll be.
I think that's kind of now. Right now is peak. We just missed it, So
when I started my basketball training, I looked. First of all, I looked like a weightlifting trainer, like a person, and I was a personal trainer at one point, and I looked like it. And then got into basketball. I kind of stopped lifting weights. There you go. You puff that chest. But now, like when I go and train a kid, like these parents that are watching, they'll come, "Oh man, we didn't know you train basketball. Like, what do you do? Who are you?" And I'm like, I'm Branch Whitlock. I got the gym. Like, "Oh, you own the gym?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I try to act like the homeless guy that doesn't own the gym. I try to wear the clothes that make you think I'm not the one. Because when stuff goes wrong, like they're gonna come looking for me. So whenever they're like, hey, go like that dude over there, he's the one you got to talk to. Like talking about that guy, like yeah. So definitely, I don't look the part all the time, but people see me training kids and like, man, that dude's actually pretty good. Like, why doesn't he dress better? So
I dress comfortably, okay?
that's
Like,
right.
Well, Branch, man, we've kept you. We're way over time. We're like 30,
my bad.
25 minutes
Okay.
over. No, dude, that's not on you. It's just, we apologize because we know how busy you are. But we appreciate you for taking the time, sharing all the information with us. Everybody listening, we appreciate y'all hanging out and checking it out with us. Last thing, anything else, Branch? Anything you want to share before we sign off?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be doing this whole thing a service if I didn't end with this. Y'all ready? Roll Tide.
Oh, God. I hate this podcast. Get me out of here. End the stream, Joe.
You guys have a good day. Thanks.
Hey, it's been fun, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.